This is where the debate begins. Whose side are you on? Whose team are you on? And what words are you believing? And maybe it's a case of both men speaking the truth. And Bully did a great job of breaking down, like, the demeanor and how they come across is what the fans are going to gravitate towards. But I think it's also something else, Bully. And it got me thinking about what we've seen from Seth Rollins over the last year or so. And, it's never judge a book by its cover. But for a very long time, Bully, I really didn't believe in what Seth Rollins was saying because Seth Rollins wasn't saying anything. He was this over-the-top character that was like Joker-esque character with the flamboyant clothes and like laughing in everyone's face. So you didn't really take Seth Rollins serious. So, Bully, could this be a case of where this is biting him in the ass? You and I would do shows every Tuesday morning where we were like, I'm not buying into Seth Rollins' character because he's not giving me anything I can believe in because he's just being this over-the-top character where it seems like he doesn't take anything serious. Now, you could take – oh, go ahead.
Imagine this scenario. Let me try to paint this picture and ask you how you think the fans would react. You're telling me that Seth Rollins is speaking the truth. Everything coming out of his mouth resonates. Mm-hmm. But the people are still on CM Punk's side. If Seth Rollins and CM Punk were standing face to face in the ring and Seth Rollins hit him with, you left because you were angry in the WWE, you took your bat and your ball, you went home, you were a baby, you were a bitch, you failed in MMA, you went to AEW, you stole money there, you couldn't hack it there, you come back, you make even more money here, and now everybody loves you, and you're going to try to tell me you didn't pull the wool over everybody's eyes and fool the world? And CM Punk were to look at him and go, you're right. That's exactly what I did. If CM Punk came clean in front of Seth Rollins and admitted that everything Rollins was saying was true, how would those people react?
They would love him. Even more
then
than now.
You are fucked, sir.
Yeah, I mean,
no matter what Punk does in this situation with Seth Rollins, he will always come out on top.
And Bully, what you just said is 100% true. Like, I don't think there's anything that Punk could say or do that is gonna get the fans. And listen, there's a part of me that admires that blind loyalty. Like, we talk about AEW and how the product has kind of fallen off over the last year and a half to 2 years. But there's still the fans that are like, man, I don't want to hear you criticize this product I love because I love it. I love it. Now, you can look at that and say, come on, open up your eyes. You're going to tell me you don't see the deficiencies in this product over the last? Nope, I love it. I think it's the best. There's some of that blind loyalty. I respect that blind loyalty in a lot of ways. I admire that blind loyalty in a lot of ways. I think when it comes to CM Punk, there is some of that blind loyalty. CM Punk does not mind dropping bombs, brother. That guy drops bombs. He dropped bombs in the WWE. He was loved for it. He dropped bombs in AEW. He was loved for it. He comes back he dropped bombs in the WWE and then comes back and everybody's like, welcome back. We love you.
CM Punk is unapologetically CM Punk. And that's why the fans love him.
And I guess you have to admire that. Now, on the other side, and this I'm fascinated to get your answer, Because I'm going to be honest here, Bully. When they showed Seth Rollins for the first time last night, and he was wearing this goofy suit, right, with the big sunglasses, like he's a character in Alice in Wonderland, right? I'm like, fuck, man. Could one time you just be a little real? I would love to just see Seth Rollins walk out there with jeans and a T-shirt, man, where it's just like, you know what? I'm not going to put on this facade. I'm not going to be this over-the-top character, because what's going on is so real to me. I have to show you the real me. There's a part of me that just wish he would drop it. Now, you could say, well, that's Seth Rollins. That's who he is. No, it's not, because that's not been Seth Rollins' entire career. This is the Seth Rollins we've seen over the last year and a half, 2 years. But that's not the real Seth Rollins.
You're asking for professional wrestlers, Seth Rollins, when what you're getting right now is sports entertainer Seth Rollins, and it's still World Wrestling Entertainment. You strip this character, you strip this all away, and now Seth goes back to what he was in his inception, a great professional wrestler. That was involved with the Shield, and then when it was the burn it down version of Seth Rollins cashing in the Money in the Bank, what really grabbed you about him?
It was like that he's a great wrestler. He's one of the best wrestlers. And you know what?
It's only going to get you so far in the WWE.
But in this scenario, forget it. I understand what you're saying, though you could argue, because look at CM Punk. So I think that kind of, maybe that's why everybody loves CM Punk, because he's not your typical WWE sports entertainer. But don't you think, Bully, that Seth Rollins' words would resonate with people more? He's talking about the time he was Tyler Black. He's talking about the time he was in the independent IWA in Illinois or Ring of Honor. How about if he showed that guy instead of being this over-the-top, L.A. sports entertainer?
Great idea. But it's not going to work with CM Punk. It is I believe it is a losing battle for Seth Rollins to ever win over the fan base against Punk. What other wrestler never changed their attitude, their look, their tone, or demeanor throughout his entire WWE career? Except for when he changed from the Ringmaster Stone. Once Stone Cold became Stone Cold, that was it. And the people accepted Steve for everything, even his faults of when he turned heel. Even the double turn at WrestleMania. Nobody cared. Wrestling fans are very forgiving when they want to love you. You brought up the example. Look at how forgiving AEW fans are because they want to love AEW. Wrestling fans in general are very forgiving. Sabu walked out on the ECW fans. Sabu walked out on the company, on the boys, on Paul, on everybody. And there was no more of a tighter relationship between wrestler and fan base than in ECW. And Sabu walked out for more money. And Paul Heyman and Taz stripped his gimmick. And Taz came out in the ring for the first time as Peter Cernuccia as opposed to Taz to show you how serious this was. Paul Heyman explains to the people, Sabu screwed you. Sabu turned his back on you. Here's what he did. He told the people the truth. And what happened 1 year later when Sabu came back?
Fans loved him.
I was in the arena, and I could tell you that it was one of the most electric things I've ever felt. As a matter of fact, I did an interview with WWE, and they asked me about a memorable moment in the ECW arena. I didn't talk about myself. I talked about that moment. I was in the middle of the arena with Taz and Sabu. My point is, wrestling fans will forgive when they love. So it
true.
doesn't matter what Seth Rollins says. He could be speaking the truth, the God's honest truth, the absolute truth, so help you God, whatever you say when you put your hand on a Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, I do. Doesn't matter. It matters to some of the Seth Rollins fans, but the CM Punk fan base will step all over the Seth Rollins fan base. And it's not because of Seth, it's because of Punk. People don't care that Punk left. People don't care that Punk went to frickin' Dagobah a la Yoda and hid for so long. They don't care that he went back to AEW. They don't care that he had a problem there. All they care is that they got their CM Punk back, because we loved CM Punk then, and we want to love CM Punk all over again, because guy never changed. He's as real gets when we watch him and we listen to him.
And that's so, and I used the word unique earlier, but think about this. Some of the greats, some of the legends, some of the people who said is some of the best of all time are on that Mount Rushmore. The Rock. Look at The Rock. The Rock left the WWE to start a movie career, right? Bully, I'll never forget WrestleMania 24 in Orlando when he went to induct his grandfather into the Hall of Fame. The Rock got booed. When The Rock came up on that stage to induct his grandfather, he got booed by the fans because the fans felt betrayed that he left. They don't feel that same way about CM Punk. CM Punk was able to get that, even as he's leaving a show in a company that fans are watching religiously every week, he has the gift to get those people to side with him.
Because in a wrestling fan's heart, The Rock went on to, quote unquote, bigger and better things than pro wrestling. CM Punk went away and then went back to pro wrestling. Yeah, maybe it was a different company, but at least he showed his loyalty to pro wrestling. And we want him back. And a lot of wrestling fans, I would say that there's a portion, I don't want to say a lot of, there's a portion of wrestling fans who know what CM Punk went through in AEW, whether you agree, disagree, it doesn't matter. The WWE fan who agrees with CM Punk is like, great, I'm glad you're back. That place wasn't the right place for you anyway. And the people that might actually disagree with CM Punk say to themselves, we don't really care, water under the bridge, blah, 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 you're back with us anyway.
Yeah, and there might even be a portion of fans that don't even know that he went to AEW because they're just WWE loyalists.
So at the end of the day, what does it go back to? Emotion. The manipulation of people's emotions. And Punk has a unique gift that not a lot of us have. The ability to stick their finger in your brain and swirl it all up and make you think what we want you to think.
I also feel like, and then I want to get to the Busted Open Nation because we have a lot of callers that want to jump in on this conversation. You just said something that really resonated with me, Bully, and the fact that when we're talking about Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins was like, I was like, yeah, he was a great pro wrestler, but you can only go so far as a great pro wrestler in the WWE. You have to be a sports entertainer. Now we see that over-the-top Seth Rollins character that I just never gravitated towards, and maybe there's other fans that didn't gravitate towards it either because it just didn't seem real. CM Punk has always been real. Whether you agreed with him or you disagreed with him, he was never a quote-unquote character. CM Punk has always been CM Punk. He's always been real. He's never afraid to tell you what he thinks or what's on his mind. That is, in this world, Bully, very unique. And I think people gravitate towards that, and I think that's a big reason why the fans love him as much as they do. He's the ultimate rebel. He's the ultimate rebel.
And he has been since the day he stepped foot in there, whether that's been the perception of his character in the ring or outside of the ring. He's very rebellious. And people in a world of pro wrestling today where almost all of the rebels are dead or gone or have rode off into the sunset, he's the one that they can rely on. We used to have an entire company built on rebels, but it's gone. And slowly those rebels are even riding off into the sunset. Who is truly when we talk about rebellion in rock and roll, who do we automatically think of?
Sex Pistols.
Boom, done. See you, bye. That's the answer. When we think of rebellion in pro wrestling, who do you think of?
CM Punk.
That's it. Because there are no more rebels left. I know what it takes, how it feels to be a rebel. So when I see one and I hear one, I automatically know why he works and is so loved. Why is ECW still so loved? Why do they still chant those three letters? Because it was a rebellious company that always stayed true to itself, never turned its back on its fan base. CM Punk is a rebel who has always stayed true to himself and has never turned his back on his fan base.
You were talking about some of the greatest storylines.
If I'm not making sense today, brother, then I'm quitting.
No, you are, and I think it's a great discussion, and it's the perfect time to have this discussion because of what we saw last night, Bully. But, we were talking...
Dave, what I'm doing today, honestly, is I'm taking you behind the curtain and showing you who the Wizard of Oz is. Not that there was a man behind something manipulating everybody. I'm showing you and educating you to the art of manipulation in wrestling.
See, but and this is where I'm not saying I disagree with you, but Punk is manipulating, but I don't think the Punk that we're getting, Bully, is I think the man that we see on our TV is the man. That's the man all the time. I think the CM Punk we see in the ring and in interviews and everything, that's the man that's 24/7 CM Punk.
If I was cutting there's only one way to combat CM Punk, and that is to be the version of CM Punk. It's almost like I don't know if I'm getting this right, but in the only Godzilla, the only other monster that could give Godzilla a run for his money was Mecha Godzilla. The only superhero that could give Superman a run for his money was Bizarro Superman or something like that. You need to fight fire with CM Punk. There are very few people I can take what Seth Rollins said and make it believable.
And that's because I think you could, without a doubt. And I think that's the
and
problem.
I could get people to pump the brakes and really think about it and make them go, whoa, wait a minute. He really did do this to us. John Cena could do it to CM Punk. MJF might if he took the bullshit shtick out of it. Obviously, I know I could. There's very few who could turn this on him.
I feel like MJF was able to do that, by the way.
Because look at what you're saying. This is now we've talked about Drew speaking the truth to Punk, and now we're talking about Seth speaking the truth to Punk. And what's happening? Who's coming out on top? Punk. Who's the common denominator? Punk. What's the common denominator of the story? The two quote unquote guys speaking the truth. Fans don't care.
They don't.
When I was on Gutfeld last week, Tyrus asked me about the presidential pardon, and he asked me about the $2 billion of missing money, and I said, people don't care. People are ready to move on. They don't want to. Whatever. Yeah, pardon your son. Great. It's okay. Great. Do whatever you want. The $2 billion, whatever. It's in the past. The government will just print more money. People don't care. But they care about CM Punk.
Well, and that's it. What do you always preach, Bully? Care.
Care.
The word care. The word care. And CM Punk has never apologized about who he is and what he does. You know, CM Punk isn't going to wear the outlandish clothes or any. Like, CM Punk is a punk, and he makes no apologies about it. Bully, you know how many times people have told me, come on, for God's sakes, Dave, you're on the air, they're videotaping. Could you wear something nice, a button-down shirt? Could you wear a suit? Could you look presentable? No, because this is who I am. I'm a fan, and this is what I'm going to do. People gravitate towards people like that because it's real. That's what fake people don't understand. Wearing a suit is not going to make the man.
But Dave, if Punk ever rolled this grenade into Seth Rollins' room, it would completely destroy Seth Rollins. If they were ever in a face-to-face, right? And Punk said his piece and Seth Rollins said his piece, and Punk ever looked at Seth and went, and do us all the favor. Lose the goofy getup. It's not doing anything for you. He's dead. He's done.
It's done.
He's done.
If he
because remember, on stage at the WrestleMania press conference, didn't Rock or Roman say something about Seth Rollins' attire?
Yes.
And it was a bit emasculating, and we talked about it on the show, but they kind of got past it.
But that also, if you remember, immediately did not make him a part of what was going on.
Yes.
Like Seth
you're an
Rollins,
afterthought. You're a goofy clown. You're an afterthought.
And
I'm
we were
not
like,
calling
holy
Seth Rollins a goofy clown. I'm saying
Rock
that the
did.
perception.
Rock did.
That was the perception of the moment.
Rock did. If CM Punk, if they have a face-to-face, and Seth Rollins goes through everything that we heard last night, where Dave LaGreca is like, dude, I got this guy's back. I'm on Team Rollins. Everything he's saying is 100% true. And CM Punk would go up to Seth Rollins, and his only retort would be, I don't believe anything you're saying because I look at you and you're an embarrassment. You look like a goof. You're an embarrassment. That's it. That's it.
No, that's too heavy. It's too much. He has to say it matter-of-factly as if he feels bad for him.
Oof.
And by the way, bro,
worse.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, I feel sorry for you that you had to resort to looking like this to make it.
Dude, when I just said, just for everybody listening, because you can't see me and Dave right now, when I just said what I said about how CM Punk should deliver the line, Dave's head went straight down into his desk. You showed me with your body language how much what I just said resonated with you. Yes or no?
Yes.
You're like, oh my God. Like when somebody says, oh my God, and they rear back in their chair, they throw their hands in the air, they roll their eyes, oh my God. That's how that just resonated with you. And that's how it would resonate with people. If Punk was just like, and by the way, man, do yourself a favor. Not do us a favor. Do yourself a favor. Lose the outfits. You don't have to call them goofy because everybody knows they're goofy. Say it like you feel bad for him and you're almost trying to help him. And do yourself a favor, brother. Lose the goofy outfits. This isn't the guy that I know. Done. Dead. DOA. Take care. Brush your hair.